our candidates that have been so gracious to join us today. I'm sure they feel kind of lonely sitting up there, and I am sorry. Again, I'm going to the ladies first, and I'll be nice. So I would like you to stand, please.
Thank you. I do feel kind of lonely sitting up here. Now, thank you, I'm not sure if you know this or we're supposed to introduce ourselves. Okay. Okay. That's okay. I will, let's see, 5 minutes. I don't want to get too much into my background because I think most of the people here have heard it at least 5 times by now. But I do want everyone to know that I'm a lifelong resident of Sanders County. I've lived in Trout Creek most of my life. So I was not recruited for this job. I volunteered. I decided this is what I want to do. And I actually wanted to run for county attorney 4 years ago, but I had a little infant on my desk and decided that ultimately it wasn't the best time. So he starts school this year, and now I've just basically decided this is the best time of my life to pursue what I have always wanted to do, and that is be a prosecutor. So with that, I will let everyone know that I do have a law degree. Several people have asked me that. From Hamlin University, I have a Juris Doctorate, and I also have an undergraduate degree in business administration. And I have 14 years experience in private practice. And I have a private office in Trout Creek. And through those 14 years, I have also been a contract attorney through the Montana Office of the State Public Defender for about 10 years. So I have served as a public defender. And the contract attorney is basically means you're not a full-time employee of the state. If they have any conflict cases, they farm all those out, or if they have basically cases that nobody on the state public defender staff wants to handle, they farm them out. And in Sanders County, through most of this 10 years, most of the cases have come to me. There have been some other fly-by-night attorneys that have come through. But in my work in private practice, I have a number of different civil cases that I've worked on. I've most recently done a lot of debt collection issues and a lot of foreclosures. I've also worked extensively in probate and estate planning. I've worked on a number of subdivisions in Sanders County, real estate and easement issues, a lot of that type of thing. I've also worked on some tax deed cases and have actually appealed a tax deed case to the Montana Supreme Court and won. My public defender experience, I mostly handle misdemeanors, but I have done quite a few felonies. I've also represented mothers and fathers in youth in need of care cases, and in those cases I've also represented the minor children as a guardian ad litem, which the judge appoints an attorney to represent the children in those cases. And if anybody doesn't know what they are, they're cases where the state alleges that the parents are either abusing or neglecting their children. So the state steps in. And so I've worked as a public defender in that capacity. I've also represented juveniles in the juvenile cases in youth court. It comes in front of the district court, but it's considered youth court. And I've had a number of those cases. In running for county attorney, I have a lot of goals that I haven't talked about, but I would like to talk about my 3 primary goals. And I talked about these last night at the Lincoln Reagan dinner. And the number 1 goal that I have, if I'm elected county attorney, is to work to create a new relationship with the Sanders County Commissioners and to work closely with that body. And a lot of people don't know this, but under Montana law, there are over 100 statutory duties bestowed on a county attorney. And a majority of those duties are civil related. and the county attorney is required to provide legal advice and counsel to the commissioners and all of the sub-jurisdictions of the county, which, in Sanders County, some of these don't ever come up, but a lot of times they do, and the sub-jurisdictions are the weed districts, and a lot of people don't even know there's weed districts, but there is. The fire districts, the school districts, and the land use planning office. So the county attorney is also, in addition to prosecuting, they're also required to give counsel and legal advice to all of these entities. And under Montana statute, that's part of your job, that they don't have to pay for that. The special districts don't pay for that. That's part of the job of the county attorney. The second goal that I have, and I've talked about, is to work to form a really strong communication with the Sheriff's Department. And I know that's been a major issue in the past, and I would like to work to build and develop a policy and procedure with the Sheriff's Department for handling all criminal cases, both misdemeanors and felonies. And, I think that these cases need to be handled, efficiently and aggressively, and I think that we need to have a working relationship on how we're going to do this and how we're going to communicate with each other. And I want to have an open door policy, and I definitely will not be afraid to walk over next door and talk to those people and figure out what we need to do to get certain cases prosecuted. And my third goal is what a lot of people are talking about, and that is managing the budget efficiently. I am definitely mindful that the county attorney's office is funded by taxpayers' dollars, and a majority of that money comes from real estate taxes. And, I'm not making any promises about the budget because it is very complicated, and you have to be very careful about what you say. But what I will say about it is I have managed to run my own office for 14 years and been very successful at it. I've managed employees, I've paid employees, I've had to pay, write that check out every month for payroll taxes, and it's not fun. So I know what it's like to have to budget an office. We've had to cut costs. I've had to put people on part-time, and then I have to bring them back. So I will be very mindful of the budget, and I will be scrutinizing the budget very carefully when I get into office, and you have about 6 months to do that once you're...
You're about a minute or so over.
Okay. I'll be done. That's all I have to say about the budget. The final thing that I want to say that people are really confused about, and that is the June 8th election. In Montana, we have what's called an open primary, which means basically when you walk into the primary election, if you're a Democrat, you don't have to vote Democrat. If you're a Republican, you don't have to vote Republican. You can cross-vote. So, because there is no Democrat county attorney running and there is no independent running, there's only 2 Republicans. So when you go into the primary, whoever